Welcome to the Astrology Report for a very interesting, if not difficult, week of October the 9th to the 15th, and it is already begun. We are having a Mars Pluto Square that has been riling up the skies already on the day I'm recording, Saturday, the 7th of October. And I'm rather sad. And I'm going to be a little more serious here because I will say the week does end with something very positive. It's a Mars Trine Saturn. We can all benefit from that. And when you listen to your all signs portion for your sun, moon, and rising, we're going to talk about how you can really kick ass in some achievement and workspace and success for ambitious projects at the end of this week. But let's start with what's happening now. So I wrote my newsletter for my followers, my Cosmic Moonshine Week of Weekly Astrology News is a written by me delineation of what's likely to happen in the week ahead. And they get this content every Saturday morning, and I'm recording on Saturday. And I did talk about the possibility of some kind of event that was going to look like maybe a Taiwan, China thing, or some kind of destabilization in the world in geopolitics. And we just saw it today, unfortunately, with the Israel Hamas attacks by the Hamas on Israel on a day of a sacred holiday. And I want to address that first. Now, I know some of us don't care about politics and we don't want to listen to this stuff, but this is Mars Pluto energy. And if you learn to learn astrology, get to know astrology, you understand that this kind of thing was inevitable. Something like this could happen. And indeed it did. So there may be hundreds of people wounded and dead in Israel as a result of this attack. And then Netanyahu is like saying, if I said his name right, that he's going to attack back just as badly. And then this is where I go the eye for the eye and the tooth for the tooth. And this is just why war keeps persisting in our world. So basically, the enemy will pay an unprecedented price, he said. This is the leader of Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I hope I said it right. The enemy will pay an unprecedented price, he said, declaring that mass army mobilizations are happening, not an operation, not a round, but a war. He's declared they're at war right now. The enemy will pay. Okay, so we're getting into this intensity right now in the Middle East, which the Middle East has been kind of simmering for years, so nothing surprises us when something blows up in the Middle East. But on a sacred holiday to the Jewish people, the enemy, the Hamas, the Palestinian movement attacked, and now there's going to be repercussions. This is an intense sky. This is what I wrote in my newsletter. If you want to come join me over there and subscribe, it comes out every Saturday. You'll get this kind of stuff before YouTube land, but also you get some perks and special discounts on stuff that you don't get if you're just watching me on YouTube. So to sign up, it's in my description box. So I actually wrote about Sunday through Tuesday, the Mars square Pluto, Venus opposite Saturn. I called it Eeks, and I might call this whole darn week ahead Eeks. Now, honestly, I will not read the personal part, which I've spent a paragraph how it could work in your life to you guys, because I'm going to delineate that today. But for the world stage, I wrote this. For the collective, aggressions happen that tend to make the headlines. Pluto, especially in Capricorn, can represent the dark fathers, a phrase I borrowed here from astrologer Stephen Forrest. Pluto in the dark father iteration can be the wealthy, controlling, dictatorial, and power-hungry institutions and people, men and women that rule the world. Funny enough, in Stephen Forrest's article on this, he actually put Netanyahu, is the Prime Minister of Israel, as one of these dark fathers. I'm not saying I agree with him, but there you go. I mean, he's a far right kind of advocate for harsh war measures against Palestine, that Prime Minister. And since 2008, we have seen the underbelly of this archetype with Pluto's transit through Capricorn. Mars in any sign can also act out as rebellion, gunfire, bombs, homicide. But in Libra, Mars is trying so very damn hard to be the diplomatic one and to be conciliatory. Still, I wrote, with the newsman Mercury in Libra until the 22nd, events this week might show up as breaking news to do with stock markets, legal matters, or diplomacy crises such as Taiwan and China. Now, when we go to diplomacy crises, it can be anything after this blow up. I think that Israel's trying to negotiate something with Saudi Arabia in terms of positivity. Maybe that'll fall apart. And also, basically, there's an expression by Margaret Thatcher. I'm extraordinarily patient, provided I get my own way. And to me, that really speaks to that Pluto-Mars energy. So unfortunately, that's what's going on in the sky as I record on October the 7th, which is Saturday. This will be in the public sphere on Monday for all of you. My Patreon community gets it today. So again, another way to get content from me ahead of time, besides Cosmic Moonshine, is the idea of signing up for $5 a month for my Patreon community, where it's ad-free, early access, all content. Now, I'm kind of sad about this. I mean, I'm not taking a position. I'm not pro anybody. I'm not anti anybody, but this is like the stuff that's happening in our world that, like really eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, more military might against more military might. I always wonder what would happen if women ruled the world. Okay, let's just say it that way. So this week starts off, we're still feeling it Monday, Tuesday, even into Wednesday. Mars is in a square to Pluto. Pluto finishing a long journey through Capricorn that he began doing in 2008 and getting the hell out of there by the end of next year. A little back step into Capricorn next fall, but mostly he's completely leaving and he'll be out of there forever and ever in our lifetimes. But when he was in Capricorn, Me Too movements, Occupy Wall Street, greed, the discovery of, power and control structures dominating people and agendas and all of that stuff. So that's kind of coming to a final close. Pluto and Aquarius maybe us people power. But at the same time, Mars this week is moving through the sign of Libra, where he's in a debility and he's already connected to the South Node, which is its own release, let go, surrender. And he's moving into that square with Pluto. Now, we do have an eclipse in Libra on the 14th, but I can't not cover that here. My eclipse video will be out on Sunday, October the 8th, and I'll put the link to that below because I'll be doing a deep dive into a South Node Mars-fueled eclipse in Libra, which is pretty intense energy, and it's a total eclipse. It's a ring of fire. It's at 21 Libra. That's already been recorded and you'll be able to access that online as of the 8th of October. Now, on YouTube. Now, Mars squaring Pluto, I already read to you what it can mean, right? When push comes to shove, that's Mars square Pluto. It's also acts of violence and rebellion, and it can be connected to bombing and homicide and shooters. And now we have this incursion or this bombing by the Hamas into Israel, killing lots of people. So that's classic Mars Pluto, has a 9/11 vibe in a way. And that's going to be feeling dominant on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're still in the sort of fallout of what's happening on Saturday and Sunday. And in your own life, you're going to feel that as a push, pull, and tension between the Libra part of your sky and the Capricorn part of your sky, where there's something intense and explosive happening. If you were an Aries rising, it's in your 7th house of marriage and your 10th house of career. It may be a clash between your career agendas and a power struggle with your significant other. But we're not going to delineate the all signs for the Mars square Pluto, because I'd rather talk about the Mars Trine Saturn at the end of this week, which is very positive and gives you something to look forward to. And that's when we're going to go through each sign and talk about how that Mars Trine, starting on Thursday all the way through to next Monday, will feel like a really good vibe for everybody. At the same time, when we start this week, Monday and Tuesday, we feel that Venus energy as she comes into the sign of Virgo, a sign of her detriment, a sign of her fall. And she's at 0 degrees of Virgo, and she's going to be on Monday opposite Saturn at 1 degrees of Pisces. That opposition is tension. It's two differing agendas. Saturn wants one thing, she wants one thing. Saturn is retrograde. He's going backwards, and he barely is moving because he's getting ready to station around into direct motion on November the 4th. So he's very slow. He's very concentrated, discrimination, perseverance, hard work. Venus, Virgo, not in her happy spot, the sign that belongs to Mercury, where she has to be either the sexy housekeeper or the hot accountant, or she has to be somebody who's just like having to pay attention to the nitpicky details of life, not the big splashy parties, the fun and the glamour. And honestly, she's sensible as all hell here. So Saturn is already sensible. So it could be an opening to sensible love, or sensible money, or practical love, or practical money, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but also can be money is hard, love is hard, values are hard, self-worth is hard. And this hardship is coming from Saturn in Pisces, because he's kind of like the governess or the strict one with his opinion of the whole situation. And Venus is kind of like, she's in more of a debilitated state than Saturn, even when he's retrograde. He's not in a particular debility in the sign of Pisces. So I think he has a bit of the upper hand in that regard. Technically, they're moving toward each other because he's moving retrograde motion, she's moving direct. So they're trying to find a meeting of minds in a way. So at the end of this transit, Monday through Wednesday, maybe some of you will go through a love is hard, money is hard, creativity is hard, my beauty is hard, my self-love is really hard, window of time. And then it will begin to emerge as, I think, a reconciliation and a solution. And you might want to really think about what practical, sensible, detail-oriented solutions you may have for stories to do with money and love. Now, of course, in your own chart, this is different too. You need to know, what is your Pisces chunk of real estate and whole sign houses? What is your Virgo chunk of real estate. If you were an Aries rising, Saturn's in your 12th house, Venus is in your 6th house. It could be work crises around work, crises around foreigners, crises around addictions or something like that. So again, I'm not going to delineate Venus opposite Saturn, right? It happens once a year. I'm going to delineate the Mars trine to Saturn, which is a very lovely energy for all of us, and in a big picture way can bring a lot of progression towards ambitions fulfilled, desires with hard work, realizing great results. I mean, it's a go-getter energy that you suddenly can mobilize in your life, or is mobilized for you. Now, I want you to listen later on when we get into that for your sun, moon, and rising sign, but listen for your rising. People ask me why. It represents when you were born. It represents you slicing into reality. On the eastern horizon line, what constellation was locked and loaded against the time of your birth? The sun is moving for one sign every 30 days, can represent dad, father figures, career, purpose, ambition, and your soul. Do you live from your soul? Not most of us. The moon can be your fate, your mother figures, safety, nurture, and sometimes your body, your house, right? But your rising sign is everything in your life because you're the one at the steering wheel of your ascendant. If you don't know your rising sign, I have a free tutorial on how to cast your chart in whole sign houses using online free software in my description box freebie section below. A description box is everything under the headliner. It says more, click on it, and everything. How to get readings with me, who I am, where I am, it's all down there. Now, did I say my name? Did I even say the beginning? Hi, I'm Lori Lothian. If you're new to my channel, like and subscribe. Welcome back to my regulars. Probably not. I'm using Western Tropical Zodiac, whole sign houses. And I love the minor asteroids. So I'm going to share that with you. It's been a bit of a long day, guys. I taught a class, saw some clients and stuff like that. So I'm recording on the end of the day, Saturday. It's almost dark here. Thank God for the ring light. Here we have it. I wanted to show you a few things. I want you to be able to see what I'm seeing on October the 9th, and we can move forward together. I wanted to bring your attention perhaps to the idea here that when Mars is sitting at 28 degrees of Libra and he is in a square to Pluto, he's also trending right behind the asteroid Abundantia for abundance, prosperity. And he's going to make contact with Abundantia in a meaningful way as the week goes on. So I want you to track that abundance story that Mars can be activating for you in your life. But also at the time that this whole debacle was happening back 2 days before in Israel, October the 7th, I could point to you to the looking at the idea that this is the asteroid Isis, and the sun is getting closer to Isis, who floods the Nile River Valley for prosperity. But sun represents leader. Okay, and Isis also represents something that's terminally broken and can be put together, like a recovery after a time of breakdown. And because she put her husband back together again after he was dismembered, you know, sort of like a Frankenstein story. And a world leader is here, right? Because the sun can represent a world leader. So what world leader is coming into a healing, Chiron across the way this week, of some kind of breakdown, some kind of recovery from some kind of seemingly unrecoverable situation. So I don't know, maybe Trump will prevail in a court case. Maybe there's going to be something going on with the Middle East story that looks like an amazing positive recovery for the leader of something. But it probably isn't about that war story, because if Israel says we're going to war, I don't think that's going to look like anything's going to suddenly turn around with a silver lining, honestly. And this could spin a bit out of control in a way we didn't expect. Everyone's got their eyeballs on Taiwan, China, right? Or maybe Ukraine and Russia. But there are alliances and allegiances within the Middle East that can have people constellating in support of Palestine and the Hamas rebellion group, and in terms of in charge of in the Israeli support structures like the United States. And technically, I mean, a downtrodden people who has been treated badly and partitioned off and treated like a second-class citizen, which was what the Palestinians believe has happened to them, they will do desperate things and desperate measures. I'm not advocating for desperate measures against Israel, but this sort of like locked intensity that's been going on for ever since the United Nations gave Israel, or the Bretton Woods institutions gave Israel a chunk of land. Here, you have that land over there. No one else has ever lived there. Well, the Palestinians had lived there. There has been a non-stop tension after World War II. Again, do not unsub or scream at me. I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Palestinian. In this regard, I'm talking about the astrology. This is why this is happening. Now, diplomatic failure in the wake of this, likely. A way to try to ease the tensions. Mars doesn't do diplomacy all that well in Libra because he's the sign of diplomacy, but he's got a sword in his hand and he wants the war to happen. So let's keep moving. Here we have it, October the 8th. And we still see that we have Venus opposite Saturn. There's that intense tension going on between the two of them, but she's not actually fully engaged yet on Sunday. Remember, I went back in time. And then on Monday, she steps into the sign of Virgo and she creates an official opposition to Saturn. Maybe you might find something on Monday where it really is that feeling to begin to look really seriously at, is this money situation, this values and resource situation, this health situation, Venus and Virgo, stable? Is it realistic? Is it enduring? Is it sensible? Is it practical? Okay, that's a question you're asking. You're looking at love through the lens of practical, sensible love, money, practical, sensible money stories. October the 10th, the moon will join Venus and can illuminate or give you some visionary ideas of what this is about. The moon is coming into the eclipse and it is a waning moon, all right, but it's also a wise moon because it's coming into that balsamic territory, which is about that older, sort of more mature, like crone-like wise man kind of moon. So you may be coming into some real wisdom on Tuesday about what it is you wish to accomplish in that sensible love and money part of your sky. And then as we move towards Wednesday, October the 11th in my time zone, which is Pacific Canada, but adjust for your time zone. As we move into Wednesday, like Australia, it'll already be, you know, it'll be your Thursday. What we're seeing here is Mars is getting ready to jump the fence into Scorpio and enjoying the asteroid Abundantia. And in that regard, we're just getting ready for some new event energy, some new stories to emerge. And his square to Pluto is starting to wane. He's moving out of the actual square and he's moving away from that tension, that combustible, shocking thing that we just saw, for example, with Israel. But there are other ways it can play out. And as we continue into the week ahead, we begin to talk about the happy story that we're doing all signs on, I know. And that's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday. Mars will form a trine to that slow moving Saturn, who's retrograding now at 0 degrees. That's the point at which he's turning around on November the 4th. That's a stationary point. So it's a very concentrated laundry soap kind of vibe. It's an intense, potentized, concentrated Saturnian energy in Pisces, a mutable sign, and Saturn's about stability. So there's a kind of like Saturnian like governing of change and trying to lock it in. And he's in Pisces, which has to do with what Jupiter cares about because it's his house. And Jupiter is sitting over here in Taurus, resources, land. Land grabs is often a Jupiter thing. Land, agriculture, resources, money, currencies, sometimes markets, economies. Okay, that's a lot of Jupiter's concern in Taurus, and he's telling Saturn what to do. So Saturn's like bearing down, stabilizing, getting ready to turn around November the 4th. And as he's doing that, Mars is actually moving toward him, and Saturn technically is still moving very incrementally towards Mars. So they're also like the Venus story I gave you earlier in the opposition. They're coming together. They're moving toward each other. And here we have Abundantia. So I'm going to narrate this story for you this week ahead. There's some area of drive and ambition, hard work and perseverance that can bring you some significant abundance in your life. And that's about the simplest way I can describe it. In fact, in my newsletter for all of my subscribers to Cosmic Moonshine, a swig of weekly astrology news, I wrote this, just so you know. I wrote, Friday through the weekend brings a lovely Mars Trine Saturn on the cusp of Sunday's eclipse. Is the eclipse on Sunday? I can't even remember. Well, anyway, Sunday's eclipse. And so keep in mind, there's an eclipse coming next weekend. Watch the video for that. Your focus levels, determination, and follow through are peaking now, and actions and choices are done with deliberation and sage-like wisdom. With retrograde Saturn hanging out in Pisces, along with Dreammaker Neptune, you are most likely to go back over old projects and plans and make a heroic effort to revise or complete them. It's a great get work done transit. And it is where your ambition meets your endurance, okay? It's a marathoner transit. It's where something you really need to endure and persevere in meets willpower, action, and drive. And this is your success story this week, fellow astrology lovers. Okay, so reminding you, if you haven't hit that like button, do so. If you're in the live premiere, please hit the like button and subscribe. And you know the drill. And let me do a little shout out for all of my people that come to my channel on the regular, who do the live premieres where I chat with the content with you as it airs. Thank you to Discerning Light, Jupiter 8, Stephen the Jupiterian, Misbehaving, Psychic Readings with Rose, Ace of Spades, Linda Calder, Herbal Empress, Grounded Extracts, a Feral Writer, Crystalline Alchemist, Vancouver Vixen, Fran Osher, Strictly Gaming, Melissa Carey. So they up at 11 with Kina, who I haven't seen for a while, but she comes in and out. And Stephanie Vella and One Rare Bird, Twisted Art Lady. Whew, great channel names. I don't know how people come up with this stuff. So we're going to go through all signs, and I'm going to just pause for a sec. Just pausing for a second, because I'm going to remind you that if you didn't know this, this is a little promo. Until the middle of October, if you sign up for my Patreon community, I'm going to give away straight away. You get access to my 2023 12 hours of video content, one for each sign, delineations, and you've got a few more months to go. Why not get it for free? It's still for sale for $44. And you also get 2 courses that I have already taught. Chiron, the Key to Purpose, and Are You My Person, the Relationship Synastry course. These are like 90-minute classes, and you get those for free as well. If you want to get all that content, almost $100 of value for nothing by testing out my Patreon community. If you like it, you can stay. If you don't, you can leave. You still get to keep the gifts. Check out the link to my Patreon community in the description box below. I'd love to have you there. You would have gotten this content that I'm recording on Saturday, October 7th, instead of waiting till Monday, and you'd be one step ahead of the game. And ad free. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do all signs. I'm going to be rather pithy. This is not going to be an hour per sign, and you're probably going, oh no, why? Because I'm hungry. It's 5 o'clock in Vancouver. I taught classes and worked, so I'm just going to move into getting this content out in a timely manner without also fainting from like sugar low. I'm a blog style astrologer. I'm telling you about who I am, my life, my real stuff. I drink water. I flip my hair, move my hands. I tell you what bad things happen, like the passing of a dog in my life a couple weeks ago. So if you don't like that kind of content and you want me to be like a broadcast journalist, which is full of neutrality and whatever else, and acting like I'm just a talking head, that's not me. Okay, just I had a conversation with another subscriber. It worked well. We talked about it in the description box, but I want you to be aware that's who I am. I don't want to do a video where I put lipstick on for you, but I'm not going to like get my sort of business suit on. I was trained in journalism. I was trained in broadcast journalism as well. That's not what I want to do. I want to do me talking to you as if you're my friend or a family member. Okay, so the reason I'm taking for so long to get back to you is I'm just making the chart whole sign houses. If you're wondering what that is, that's just so that when I move the wheel of the chart, it actually spins. Right now it's pinned to 0 Aries. Whole sign houses. Not the Hindu Baba, no, the whole sign. Calculate, and we're going to go. And now I'm queuing the chart so we have the right storylines going. We'll move it into Aries, and we're starting now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Takes me forever to cue the chart, but we are on it. Okay, here we go. Oh, guys. Here we are. Now you see it too, right? Yeah. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Mars will trine Saturn. And I should actually move us ahead by a day. Hopefully I can hold the Aries so it looks like a Mars trine, right? There's Mars in the sign of Scorpio, trining Saturn in the sign of Pisces, as you can see, right? With Abundantia. So what's going on here for you guys? You know, kind of nice, isn't it? It's kind of like rolling through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is, you know, here, October 12th, add 4 or 5 days. You can really dive in, dig in, push through, really maximize some kind of success regarding your chunky money and finances. And the words foreign lands, foreign shores, revenue from foreigners and foreign shores, or you may be pushing through some kind of deeper psychological soul work energy. Both 8 and 12 are moksha spiritual houses. And you may be like really pushing for some new attainment in your spiritual awareness. And all of that. Now, if you have to fight for money, I want to get that money that belongs to me. Mars and Scorpio helps you get that abundance for whomever you need to secure it. And Saturn gives you the diligence and perseverance to realize the result of that energy of driving to receive the money that you deserve. That can be inheritance money, bank loans, tax rebates. This Mars is going to be here for all the way for like 6 weeks. So it's a new story for you. And this is the first time you feel the energy of it. Every 2 years, Mars is here, but this is a special year. He's going to die in the heart of the sun. And that's a whole other video coming in Scorpio, but you're feeling this kind of enervated, passionate drive and willpower and sustained effort to get some kind of money story under wraps or tidied up or completed. With retrograde Saturn, it could somehow also go back to things that are in your past, you know, to do with foreigners, foreign lands, or revenue from foreign shores and foreign lands, things like that. PayPal, Stripe, and all of those systems belong now to the 12th house, because that's how we accumulate our revenue from international shores. All right, so that was really pithy. I can't think of anything else to say other than maybe you're dealing with some elder person in a hospital and you're taking all kinds of financial action on their behalf, and you're driving forward to support them in their time of need. Oh, all right. Here we have Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. So here we have this energy that's so positive Thursday through to the end of the week, all the way to Monday next week, of that Mars and Abundantia in the house of your marriage partner, your business partner, your client, audience, others, all your seventh house people, legal agreements and contracts. And it's flow and endurance from Saturn in your 11th house of larger groups of belonging and friendship circles, as well as sometimes a greater financial gain from your career. But this could look like you're really teaming up this month to get something done, this week to get something done with a significant other, maybe a business partner or marriage type partner, in alliance with your deepest dreams and wishes and hopes for your life, that you're stabilizing and making more sturdy. Saturn in the 11th, and or collaborating with friends and allies in ways that sustain and help you maximize your seventh house success, including legal contracts, including marriage situations, including the way you approach customers, clients, and audiences. And if you were looking to change your work or change your job or something like that, if it was all in a thought pattern, you may stabilize a job or change a job to one that's more stable, in which the earnings gains are more regular and reliable. Now, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to go for a chocolate break now before I pass out. So I'm like, literally, you know, I just hit that sugar low that you go and you're going to know, like that feeling like I got to eat some sugar. I'll be back in a sec. If you're in the live premiere and you're watching, hit the like button and help this channel grow. It is truly, truly appreciated. Yes, I'm okay. I had chocolate. We're back to the story. Where was I? That's something funny. It's like sometimes when I come back, it doesn't show. There, I see you guys. Oh, all right. So Taurus, we did you. We're moving into the next story. I think I did you. Yeah. Moving on. If you are a Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, or rising sign, and I like the rising the best, but try them all. It looks to me like what's happening here is you go like, wow, are you an ambition machine? You're like driving for your career success, or something to do with stabilizing your power and authority in your 10th house of reputation and career. With a progressed Gemini sun, I can relate. And, you know, retrograde Saturn is like you're looking at the old ground of where you've been already and trying to figure out what the next thing is. And you'll know that after November the 8th. But as he's kind of drilling into the 0-degree mark and he's very slowly moving toward Mars, and Mars is moving toward him, it looks like you are ambitiously succeeding and accomplishing your tasks of work that you need to do, whether you work for someone else or yourself, in order to stabilize a longer term vision for Neptune, and go and enduring marathon and result in your career space. Now, honestly, I can tell you what I'm going to be doing, because you are probably wondering. Lori will begin to get ready to record her 2023 all signs videos for the 2024 year. What I'll probably be doing during that window time is the research about what I want to talk about. But that's in exactly the kind of thing that it would look like. So look in your own life, what's going on in your career and reputation space, and you're really flowing into some ambitious drive. And you may be, if you have a boss or a superior, they may be asking you to work really hard, but you're going for it. You're like gonna not sprint, swim, Mars and Scorpio, swim to the finish line and get that stuff done Thursday through to Monday next week. Woohoo! That's my swimming. I'm actually a good swimmer, guys. I don't swim like this. I am an accomplished swimmer. Moving on. This is what happens when I get giddy. This is just a simple delineation, not a long video. If you're a Cancer, sun, moon, and rising, look for Thursday through to Monday of next week to look like something really to do with a kind of a ambitious will and focused attention with some perseverance, marathon energy, as it applies to something going on with your children, something to go with your romantic life or your entrepreneurial endeavors. It can bring abundance. Remember, I started with that whole abundance story with the asteroid Abundantia with Mars. But all of those fifth house narratives are applying to things you're doing in the house of publications, in the house, ninth house, in the house of foreign travel and foreign lands, legal and court matters, things to do with academics and universities. Now, normally when you look at things between the 5 and the ninth house, I mean, it's a flow, it's a trine, right? It may have something to do also with your unique talents and skills, the way you wish to express your purpose in life. And you may be driving to be extremely purposeful in a dharmic way, but you want to stabilize the results so that your visions of how this creative energy, this entrepreneurial energy, this romantic energy works out. Like if it's really mundane, it could be you're really driving Thursday through Sunday to make a leisure trip to a foreign land and you're just like hustling to get it together. I mean, that's very Mars in the 5th. And it might be a very prosperous trip or a very abundant time. Judges can be ninth house people, and Saturn is very kind of judgy, you know. So you may be also experience some really positive mobilization of energies around courts and legal matters, where whatever you're doing in that 5th house of money luck can outpicture by during this week, Thursday through Monday of next week, as some kind of financial bonus through the diligent hard work that you might have been doing in that 5th house. And that's about all I'm going to say. One of your kids could be abundant and prosperous because they get a scholarship to university or a college of their choice. Examples of it, if it's not about you, it could be something like an institution accepting your child, or you applying to, you know, move your entrepreneurial endeavors to another country and getting a visa or something like that, because you put a lot of hard work into it. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign in the sky. What goes on here is a Mars with the asteroid Abundantia. This is starting Thursday. Is going to be looking at the property, home, and real estate house and trying to help you prosper there. Well, with a trine to Saturn in the 8th, it's all about like buying and selling property, mortgages, things like that are very often here, or also mobilizing money from your savings, your 401k, your investments to use it for your house to do construction or renovations, Mars down there, that create greater abundance. It's kind of thing where you do a kitchen reno because you know you can sell the house for far more, but you may be making some changes in your home that are connecting to a more abundance because of those changes in your home and what you do in your domestic domicile private life, 4th house. They can bring you more abundance, but you might be drawing on that energy through the 8th house of your money or your partner's money or inheritance money in order to achieve your results. It can be a psychological, social, spiritual energy too. You might be clearing out all kinds of artifacts from your childhood, family of origin, and with Saturn in the 8th house, helping you do the soul work to rebirth a sense of who you really are, separate from your family of origin. Because the 4th house is the ancestors and the childhood, and the 8th house is the liberation, one of the liberation houses, so is the 4th. So if you're into spirituality, you might be mobilizing a lot of action and energy towards spiritual liberation and awakening in this time ahead. Honestly, it also could be just you're moving out from the house, and somebody's going to support the move, and somebody's giving you the money to do it, but you're really focused on getting this to all be accomplished this week ahead, Thursday through Monday. Now, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising, you got a story going on here of literally Mars in the 3rd house, which is often to do with cars and vehicles, by the way, and auto body shops, but also travel and short distances with Abundantia. So you could have some abundant travel plans organized or actually happening with somebody in your 7th house, a very important business partnership, marriage partner, friend, somebody maybe that was older than you or younger than you significantly, Saturn in the 7th house, but usually older. So you may be organizing travel this week. You may be also making some changes in your local neighborhood and being involved in partnering with others to accomplish those changes in a very driven way. Like, let's all sweep the sidewalks this week and let's clean up the detritus in our neighborhood. You might also be very driven to do something with a sibling or connected to a sibling this week to stabilize the interconnection relationship between you and that sibling. And you may be kind of more ambitious about that idea of a sibling relationship strengthening in the week ahead, Thursday through Monday of next week. If a relationship you're in has been feeling hard, as it will often when Saturn's traveling through the 7th house, love relationship, there's a lot of drive and ambition to secure a greater ease and flow between you and another, maybe because of things you're doing locally together in the neighborhood, and or perhaps because you're going to take a trip, and the trip can be fruitful and like a cornucopia of abundance and goodness for you and a significant love partner if you are accomplishing that on the weekend, basically, right? Thursday through to Monday. All right, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. The sky shines really brightly here for you with the Mars and the money house with Abundantia. You can ask for a better combination that Mars, ambition and drive, focus and determination, energy, because of that Saturn input to make more money. All right, to create more earnings and resources. However, sometimes Mars spends as well with Abundantia. You might be feeling so abundant, you're just, buying all kinds of stuff. So be a little careful for that Mars 6-month transit through your second house. But with abundance co-present, and it starts this week, Thursday through to Sunday, either you're spending abundantly or you're making more money or strategizing for ways to make more money and be more abundant. And Saturn's in the work house. So this can be raise, promotion, energy. This could be up-leveling your job, starting a new job that's really great for you, even quitting a job that you don't like because it's too hard. Saturn retrograde, and Saturn turns around November 4th, and your new job could be starting then when Saturn goes direct. Sometimes Saturn in the 6th is like the boss, so maybe you're going to have the boss look favorably upon you and ask you to do a bunch of work, and you're working your ass off, but it is prospering you. And Saturn here can also influence things to do with where you live if you're in a rental situation, and you may be mobilizing some prosperity in order to afford a better rental. And Saturn is giving you all the hard work needed and all the discipline and focus to structure a new rental property. Those are just some examples. Look to your 6th house meanings and your 2nd house meanings. Both of them are houses of wealth and earnings and money. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, Mars is your Lord and he's in the house of you. Hallelujah. This is for you a very good time. And for 6 weeks, he will bless you with his goodness. You are decisive. You are focused. You are ambitious. You are mobilizing your personal willpower to get what you want. And also you are very, very capable of cutting people out of your life, including your significant others and friends and allies that you don't like anymore. You've got the sword in your hand or the stinger of the scorpion's tail on your butt. So that's how you're looking at this, but abundance is here. Abundantia and Mars are together, and all the things that Mars is doing right now are about trying to improve your sense of overflow of wellness physically, but also an abundance of your prosperous story, being prosperous. Mars is trining Saturn this week, and this is going to start on Thursday through to Monday, and Saturn is in Pisces, and he's very slow. He's stationed to go retrograde and getting ready to station. He's at 0 degrees. They're kind of moving toward each other, Mars and Saturn, looking to meet in the middle, so to speak. And the way Saturn's looking at the story, he's been having you back over ground, older ground, and for a couple, 3 months, 4 months now. I can't remember when he started to go retrograde, but he's been there retrograde for a while, goes direct in November. And he's going backwards to have you reassess your joy factor, because joy needs to be established in an enduring way, not a fleeting way when Saturn's in your, and it's not about the booze at night, it's about the essential joy of being alive. And so Saturn's trying to help you find the essential joy of being alive by finding enduring ways to experience that joy. And so there's a call here for abundance and joy in the sky, Thursday through Monday, to rediscover that in a way that you can replicate like a trilogy or a quadrilogy of over and over. This brings me authentic joy. You may be reassessing things to do with your entrepreneurial life, with your creativity, with your romantic and sexual life as well. And this could bring you a sense this week, Thursday through Monday, of reestablishing some sense of fruitfulness and abundance and cornucopia and goodness around the energy of your sexual life, romantic life, and your creative life. And if you're an entrepreneur, then your entrepreneurial life. This could be about one of your children, and they're going through an experience in which you're helping them make decisions that are going to be enduring and lasting for them as well, but also prosperous and abundant as well, for example. All right, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign in the sky. What we've got going here is Mars with Abundantia. They're moving this week, Thursday through Monday, through your 12th house of foreign shores and lands, far off lands, revenue and trade from foreign lands. Okay, asylums, wardens, prisons, and all of that. Mars here can look very much like jail. So some of you might be looking at somebody in your life, won't be you, in a jail situation, but with abundance. I don't know why the abundance is there. On a more practical note, though, Mars here can have you wanting to travel to a foreign land, planning a trip to a foreign land. And you may be doing that with great vim and vigor and determination to either take that trip or plan that trip this Thursday through Monday. And that Saturn is like, well, we're anchored in the home. This is the home base. This is my home and private life. I'm stabilizing things down here. Saturn's trying to help you find a forever home, a lasting home. He's going to keep doing that until 2026. Where do you want to root yourself? But here, Saturn is talking to Mars, and Mars just wants to go gallivanting somewhere. And so they're working together. So it can be like finding the perfect situation to travel from home. Well, you have somebody anchoring the home, like staying in the home for you, maybe watching the home. But you're trying to mobilize this energy around home and travel, or home and foreign shores, or sometimes with the Mars in the 12th, you have the abundant good fortune of being able to let go of a family ancestral pattern to do with self-undoing, self-worth, and addiction. And 12-4 are soul work houses, so it can be a spiritual breakthrough energy as well. So if you have any elders living in the home, grandparents and stuff like that, good things are happening with and for them with this energy. And you might just be able to mobilize the perfect care home for an elderly parent or grandparent staying with you. Because the 12th house can be like the charitable house, the house where we have the homeless. You might be homing an elder successfully. That's an example from your ancestral line of stuff that can happen here. Okay. And this is just Thursday through Monday. Otherwise, it's good for travel, and the next 6 weeks is good for travel for you. So you might be looking to travel abroad from your homeland, because your home life might be feeling a little difficult with Saturn in the 4th house. Okay, so Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Mars, the exaltation lord for your sign, is with Abundantia in the house of friends as allies and benefactors. On top of that, your 11th house is your elder sibling, or the people who treat you like a big brother or sister. They want to help you, right? They want to be an advocate, ally, and supporter for you. And with Mars here and Abundantia, so action is happening in that part of your sky. Mars is action, drive, and passion and will, to fortify some positive things to do with your 3rd house. That could be about travel. Travel and trips and journeys are 3rd house stories. Saturn would be retrograding. You've been there before. Saturn is like something enduring and lasting and positive, can come out of any travel opportunities that you engage in, not just this week. I mean, I'm talking Thursday to Monday. You might plan all of this, because we're talking longer term story, at least because of Saturn's being in your 3rd house until 2026. So Mars is trying to trigger point something. Mars is a trigger planet to do with travel, siblings, literal or like a sibling. Both houses are sibling, 11 and 3. 3rd house can be communication, online world. Are you trying to stabilize your online world, your writing projects, your publications, if they're small, like little blogs and stuff like that? I kind of feel like you could really be mobilizing to find a good way to provide yourself with greater career gains, the abundance and the perks of the rewards of your 10th house Libra career story. And we've just had a South Node eclipse here, or will on the 14th. And so you're letting go of an old way of creating a reputation and career. But this Mars is trying to already mobilize a new direction for you. And I could say that you might find that Mars is dignified in Scorpio, right? You're having a big reset regarding what you want to achieve in greater career gains in November with a Cazimi here. But this is the first salvo. So I don't know, look for some kind of conversations or connections to these friends who are your allies or your actual literal sibling, elder sibling type people, to support you in getting something to go super swell in your 3rd house. 3rd house is your neighborhood. Mars is like about change, and maybe there's a longer term change of neighborhood, but not quite yet. I mean, it's just the beginning of something else unfolding over the next 6 weeks. All right, I am one of you. As one of my followers said, she knows my line. I'm an Aquarius rising. We are here. So Mars is moving in his Abundantia way with the horn of plenty up here through our career space for 6 weeks. We're just going to be focused on career. That Mars through all the Scorpio videos coming out this week, probably on Wednesday. And I just got so much in the pipeline, right? They're all recorded, but I have to get them out there. But we're aiming for career success. We're aiming for ambitious, focused, hard work and discipline in our career and reputation zone. But Mars is equally capable of cutting us away from that or other people out of our lives involving our career. So keep the decimation in mind there. But with Abundantia, you're being more abundant for the next 6 weeks in your career space as Mars is connecting to that asteroid. And this week you begin to feel it more truly, like Thursday through to Sunday, what this abundance might be about, because you're working really hard to stabilize your career and earnings this week. Thursday through Monday is the beginning of a longer story. Saturn is retrograde, and you've gone back over old earnings and career and money strategies and how you earn money and conserve and save money. You're looking at that, you're wondering about it. And with Venus in the house of taxes, I've been checking the tax accountants, and I just talked to a friend who already knows more than I do and got some great ideas. So this energy is playing out in the sky. But Saturn wants to preserve the wealth, like the preserver, and he's retrograde. So he's thinking of things from the past and ways to do it again. And now Mars is like, action, let's move forward. We got this career thing going. Let's be momentously abundant with hard work and discipline in the way we accrue the money, save the money, and spend the money. You'll find that your spending will be reined in with Saturn here, but your savings will increase over the next 3 years. But this week, Thursday through Monday, is some kind of feeling of compromise between the stability and the perseverance and the sensible, sober-minded realism of Saturn and Mars's gung-ho ambition in the 10th house. At a practical level, I could be me pulling back my recording schedule, which sounds crazy, but maybe I just like, yeah, I'm going to be a little more sensible about this and maybe actually take a break. Who knows, right? But Mars can cut away things in the career space that you don't need, but they'll bring you more abundance because you're not overdoing it, right? That kind of thing. I think for me, it's more like how to cut away more client readings. I can't cancel the ones that are already booked, but I love my clients, but it's a lot of work, guys. All right, the first and always first, best and always best. Oh, if you're still in the premiere, hit that like button. It helps the channel grow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're new to me, give me a try. Like, subscribe, check out Patreon. You know the drill. Pisces. All right, so you've got Mars with abundance moving through your 9th house of foreign lands, foreigners and foreign shores, legal and court matters, third marriages, and academic environments and book publishing. All of those areas you might be driven and passionate for the next 6 weeks to be more abundant. You may travel to a foreign land. Mars loves to travel when he's in the 9th house, and that journey to a foreign land could be the seed of some abundance for you. And this next 6 weeks can show you that. But the beginning of this energy is Thursday through Monday of this week as he forms a trine to Saturn. That's you. You are now Saturn for a while until 2026. You mutable, flexible Pisces fishies are acting like a stoic Capricorn or something. You got an energy going here of being a little bit more realistic, a little bit more serious, a little bit more sage-like old man woman energy. No matter what your age, you're taking life through the lens of Saturn, which is that more serious and realistic kind of taskmaster requirement here. And so if there are these kinds of exciting travel, advancements in legal matters, winning in court, getting the perfect school or university acceptance because you're driving for it, you have this kind of calm, sort of, Obi-Wan Kenobi Saturn vibe. So everything you see and look at, you're coming through it with the lens of Saturn. You can be the one who's got the energy of the taskmaster to get something to happen in your 9th house. Technically, grandkids can belong to the 9th house, and you might be like literally task mastering a grandchild or a lawyer or a judge to get things done in a way that you think it's necessary to create abundance in the 9th house, for example. But at another level, again, because Mars journeys and travels, and the 9th house is the house of foreign shores, there's a possible trip that's going to come up in the next 6 weeks that creates abundance for you if it's a foreign country, foreign land, or a foreigner involved. And this is the house of God. Mars cuts away all that is not elephant. If you don't know what that means, go read my newsletter. And basically, you may pare away and cut away things that get in the way of your connection to your God, your soul, your religion, the truth of life, etc., as you do it from a sage-like demeanor. That's one way of looking at it as well. You never know. Because you're trying to make your dreams come true, basically, because Neptune is like that visionary imagination and what you want. And he's been without any support since 2011. And here comes Saturn now It'll be here till 2026, helping you realize your dreams and goals, right? Helping concretize them and make them real in a way that's a once in a lifetime period for all of you Pisces. So that because this is rare that you have both Saturn and Neptune together, this next 3 years until 2026 is going to be where Pisces rising can really fully emerge from this cycle with a practical, tangible, and realistic outcome for earnings, for goals and wishes and dreams, for better health. If you ever had any addictions, Neptune since 2011, whether you admit it or not, this can come to an end as well in the next 3 years. Okay, thank you guys for listening. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Thanks for being here for the regulars. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you will. It helps me grow. The eclipse video will be out on Sunday, October the 8th. This is coming out on Monday, October the 9th. And then on Wednesday, the 11th comes the next video. I have an eclipse webinar. It's free on Tuesday. Check it out below. There's still some spots left, not very many left actually, because, you know, how many people can I do this with without upgrading my Zoom massively? But if you want to learn to dive into those eclipses, I'm going to do a slideshow. I'm going to talk about what to do with this Libra eclipse for each sign. It's going to be a lot deeper than what you get on YouTube, and it's free, and you get the replay if you can't make it live. So you get like at least a good 10 minutes per your sign to really understand what's possible with the Libra eclipse at 21 degrees of Libra on the 14th of October. Decompression chamber. I'm out of here. Yeah, it could be martini hour at 5:33 p.m. on Saturday, October 7th. I'm so disheartened by what's happening in Israel. I'm disheartened by the language of it all. I'm disheartened by the stupidity of it all. Why cannot people figure out how to negotiate, compromise, and heal the rifts of the past? Ciao, everyone. Big hugs.